this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Wake up. Time to die.
Good morning, Angel.
Good morning, Charlie.
Yo, she-bitch. Let's go.
I'm on Dad's Uncle Mac, too.
Don't fuck with the babysitter.
We came, we saw, we kicked his ass.
Swing.
Yeah, baby. Bueller, you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
What are you looking at, spothead? Fucking Chuck Norris.
Great Scott. I know this is heavy.
You just gotta keep living, man. L-I-V-I-N.
Cinema Royale.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cinema Royale, where movies get talked about in the ring of Royale. I'm Mike, your host for the evening. Let me introduce to you my fellow cinema geeks. First up, we have Matt Brunet, also known as Animat.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Crazy Brazilians, because once they got their hands on the FIFA World Cup, they're pretty much becoming like He-Man. No? Nothing?
No, that was really good. That was good. That was really... wasn't... And last but not least, making his comeback appearance on this podcast, the man who vaults, Morgan Ledger.
After fighting
Yay.
work, allergies, and everything else, I can finally say to you all, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
I love you now. I love you now, man.
Yay.
Well, Spunky, it appears to be a good day in the neighborhood. Don't you agree?
Oh my god, I was not expecting that.
Only on allergies you can sound like an Australian. Wallaby, that is.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that is I have the complete series of Rocco.
Huh, so did I.
Anyways, this episode, the main topic, the main event, is films based
Dun dun dun.
films based on TV shows, and I'll include films based on cartoons into the mix as well for the animation nerd, Matt.
Something I'm too familiar with, unfortunately.
Oh, just wait, I have a bone to pick later with a certain one in general. I think you know what it is.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Just let me, with films based on TV shows, you know, Hollywood's having issues with coming out films. They figured, hey, let's make a movie based on a TV show. It'll be fun. It'll be make worth a lot of at the box office. Some are hit and miss.
And some miss really badly.
Really badly.
And some barely even hit the bullseye.
Just want to give you a brief little history of what I've figured out here. Matt here has a list known as the top 10 worst movies based on a cartoon, so he's got a little experience with that. I've looked at Morgan's list of reviews. He's actually reviewed at least 5 movies that are based on TV shows.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I looked it up. And I have owned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 movies based on TV shows. So I have a little experience of watching them.
Oy vey.
So, yes. And let the Cinema Royale begin. And Matt, why don't you start off?
Yay.
Oh boy, what can I start off with? You know, I think, how about we set off possibly the perfect example of what is wrong with every single movie based on rather either a TV show or a cartoon, possibly the worst one you can ever think of. M. Night Shyamalan's classic, The Last Airbender.
Yeesh.
I mean, have you guys seen The Last Airbender?
I have not. I've heard so much about it. Good guy.
Oh God, let's just say you don't have to watch the show to understand that this is a terrible, terrible movie. If you are a fan of the show, that just like brings in more fuel to the fire of how how much you can hate this movie. Essentially, what it is that M. Night Shyamalan has taken the entire first season, or the first book in terms of Avatar, and crammed it all up into 90 minutes um, into this one film. And it's so horribly done. It feels rushed, badly paced. The actors are terrible. It's like nothing feels connected to the actual show. And plus the fact that like most of the characters aren't really themselves. Like a great example is Sokka. He's supposed to be like a comedy relief in a way. Like he's supposed to be like the funny guy. But in here he's like so serious. Like and most of the time he's actually pointless. He's just a he's just a moron, basically, a hateable moron. And plus the fact that there's a lot of moments that are memorable just because it's so bad. Like there's at one point the Earthbenders, they all have to do this choreographed dance in order just to lift up a rock. There's famous quotes including "Everybody must wait until everyone is fighting against everyone," or "You must believe in the beliefs in which I believe." And there's also the part of Princess Yue's hair done in a certain fashion, let's say.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that. Yeah. I mean, I've not seen the show. I've not seen the movie. I tend to stay away from movies if they have like bad flack, and I read reviews of it. I was like, no way, I'm not watching that.
Oh, you're lucky.
I never saw The Last Airbender. I only saw the animated Amnesia series, and from what I saw, I have never seen a adaptation of a TV show that's been so unfaithful in my entire life. But perhaps it's for the best.
Yeah. Talking about movies based off TV shows.
Not only unfaithful, but so disrespectful.
Yes. If we're gonna talk about films that completely missed the mark of what the TV show was about, I'm gonna mention, and actually I own this movie, which is kind of sad. Josie and the Pussycats.
I have yet to see that one, but I've heard I've heard a few things. I've heard some people like it because it's a parody of the music company. Others are annoyed by it because it's trying to be like this adult parody per se.
Yeah.
I really don't have any word on it, but it's definitely one of those films that people either love that others hate, or others hate that people love, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's what it kind of is. Because the show is pretty much a Scooby-Doo ripoff, where it's just it's like a band solving mysteries, and
Josie and the Pussycats.
And the theme is the most noting of the whole show. I mean, Mike, it is a parody of the whole music industry, and they do that very well. They do that, and I like that for doing that, but it's not what the show was about, and it kind of blows my mind. I mean, there's a lot of product placement in it too, so if you want to have your
plus the fact sorry to interrupt, but plus the fact that I've heard that they basically ripped off the entire plot out of a Simpsons episode, and I can remember what it is. Is when it's
Oh, yes,
basically
New Kids on the Bleach.
Bart and the kids, they become like a boy band, a
Ralph,
popular boy band,
Nelson.
and I think and I think like the special guests are either NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, one of them. So yeah, basically, and
I
it's
think
the
it was
exact
NSYNC, actually.
same plot. Yeah, 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 I think probably NSYNC.
I believe it is NSYNC.
Huh. I've never actually heard about that, so.
You're
I
kidding.
remember I heard it in a commentary, basically. What?
Oh shit, it could be.
Yeah, it was in a commentary of the Simpsons.
Okay. I'm just I'm just so speechless about the damn thing. I can't even talk about it. It's just, why the fuck would you want to watch? I mean, okay, I'll give the kudos for the soundtrack, because the soundtrack is quite catchy, and they do a good cover of theme song. But
Ivanette Diaz.
Oh yeah, Ivanenia. Yes, that one.
Yeah.
Dear God.
And then the joke with, Otto out there on the bus.
Otto, what are you doing? I'm joining the army.
It's a subliminal message. Oh well, Ivanette Diaz.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ivanenia.
oh God,
Just so
yeah.
you know, kids, for those who are listening out there, just so you know, kids, for those who are listening right now, if you play Dark Side of the Moon right now, you're gonna see it sync pretty well.
Okay.
So anyway, Josie and the Pussycats.
Dumb fucking movie. Move on.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb.
Actually, it's weird. It's weird because, believe it or not, I work at a retail store. I'm not gonna say which one, but they always have like these really cheap DVDs and stuff that are set up.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, at one point, I actually saw Josie and the Pussycats in there. But here's the thing. This is true. They actually have an edited version for family viewing.
What?
Huh?
I am not making this up. There's like stuff blurred out or language cut down. Like I think there's a scene where a bunch of people are holding up a sign that says "I like pussy," and in the family version it says "I like pussycats" or something like that.
Oh, are you serious?
Oh.
Oh my God.
I am I am not. I am not making this up.
Oh.
There are two versions of this movie in circulation, and the one I have a hard time finding is the unedited
How?
family version. And they did the same thing to The Mask too. It's nuts.
Oh yeah, it says right here. Released on VHS and DVD on November 20th, 2001. A family-friendly PG version was released, as well as they omitted a great deal of profanity and sexual references. Oh yeah, profanity and sexual references. Kids blow my ass.
Or what I like to call the TV version.
Exactly. Exactly. Actually, I do have a story about a TV version of a movie I'm going to talk about later. So Morgan, what do you have up to play?
Beg your pardon?
What would you like to talk about?
Your turn.
Okay, if it's one thing that I always find interesting, it's not just taking a TV show, but sometimes a sketch from a variety show. And there's a good way to do that and a bad way to do that. The good way to do that is Wayne's World.
Yep.
I think everyone can agree it is probably the greatest TV adaptation in existence.
Yep.
And it goes just beyond two guys on a couch. It's their universe. It's their lifestyle. It's the characters that interact with them. And if anything bad happens in the universe, there goes our two characters. I think that's a really great idea because it expands them being just a TV basement studio. It shows that not only do they have a life, but they're literally part of the generation, and they're mocking everything that you would probably find in a comedy or film in general, like that one long sequence where they're doing the product placement bit. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where I think
Classic.
like Mike Myers is like Pizza Hut, and Garth's like up to the brim with Reebok sneakers. Then there is Coneheads, which isn't a bad adaptation, but here's the thing:
Oh God.
Mhm.
in comparison to Wayne's World, no, it's not a bad film. In comparison to Wayne's World, it feels more like a string of sketches as opposed to a narrative project. And I think the problem with that is putting on like tall heads and walking around and saying all this little jibble jabble. Again, it's an example of taking things and expanding them out into the environment they're set in, but you really feel no threat. You really feel nothing at all for these aliens aside from Michael McKean running around going, we gotta find these tall conehead aliens. They're with people who have like small heads. How can you hide in an environment like that? That's like the only problem I have, but other than that, I'm all right with it. There's only one movie I can think of in terms of sketch comedy that doesn't work for me. Actually, no, I haven't seen this one, but from what I've heard, it's pretty much the wrong way to take a sketch and turn it into a full-fledged feature film. And it's a very underrated movie, which I've seen bits and pieces of, called It's Pat the Movie. And this is what happens when you take the most obnoxious thing in existence and turn into a film. It's like this character that has no gender, by the way, and has like this very high pitched nasally voice and goes around and is like annoying, causing trouble or something like that. There's sketches that work because you can actually go out in the universe. You can actually do more things. You can actually like break the norm. But then you have things that just can't really go nowhere because they're stuck in their own environment. And that's sort of the main problem with certain sketches. That's also the reason why Good Burger doesn't work, because it's just joke after a joke after a joke after a joke.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally doing nothing. It's literally doing nothing, and even though it has a cult following, which is fine, it's just
And
them in a
an
burger joint.
actual
That's
Good
really
Burger
about it.
restaurant. And
And
an actual
yeah,
Good
I'll
Burger
give it credit
restaurant
for
in
that.
New York City.
Yeah, I mean, 7 minutes of that is fine because he's dumb, he's stupid. We can't take like a whole movie with him.
Mhm.
If he had a brain and didn't use it all the time, that would have been an interesting twist. There was, believe it or not, a sequel that they were going to do called Good Burger to Go, and somehow it ended up as a novel, and I used to have it somewhere. And the story is that, get this, Ed is in deep trouble because his secret sauce hasn't been approved by the FDA or something like that. And at the same time, he can't be there to meet up with the heads to approve the sauce because, believe it or not, he's hunting down a rich person because he forgot to give him his change, and it goes into a large Europe-style chase down involving love relations with a mime, uh, Kel Mitchell trying to sneak on as a dog and stuff like that. I'm sitting there thinking, why wasn't this the movie? It goes beyond the implications of what Good Burger was doing. It goes beyond the limitations of what the sketch was trying to do, and that's why Wayne's World really works, because it's appealing to its generation, and it's exploring the characters much more than you saw them on television. And I think that's a big point when doing an adaptation.
That was
Mm-hmm.
very well said.
This may be a little off topic, but I know actually I really, but if I may say something, it might be a little off topic, but I actually have a very interesting little trivia about Wayne's World. If you guys want to know,
Sure.
if it's cool.
It's fine.
Oh, sure.
All right. Anyways, actually, I know the origins of where the character of Wayne actually comes from. It's from Second. While Mike Myers was working on Second City, there was a guy named Wayne. He was exactly like that during Second City, and basically Mike Myers apparently was inspired by this guy and he pretty much turned him into a character. I actually know this because Wayne was actually my acting coach.
Sweet.
So yeah. So I think I
Nice.
wanted to share.
That's good. That's very fucking awesome.
So yeah, I'm basically
You know what's even more awesome?
my acting skills are basically from what?
Huh? You were saying?
So what's going? You were saying?
Oh, yeah. You wanna know what's even more awesome?
What?
Minor thing, nothing too big. Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs up. They, in their review, they adored this film to death. I am not even kidding.
Wayne's World?
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually, they were literally quoting lines like right after they did like their whole spiel and stuff. Even on the show, they were like going car, car, and they were like going, oh, you remember this part? Oh yeah, this is funny. And it gets weirder. They actually gave Beavis and Butthead Do America 2 thumbs up as well.
I noticed that. I actually did notice that.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, that is true.
That's pretty cool.
About public.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With
Yeah.
wow. The,
So I guess it's my turn again for a movie.
yeah, I'm kind of doing like
I guess.
round table discussion kind of thing. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because like we were
like
doing
Russian
like a
roulette.
circle. So, basically, what I want to talk about actually, yeah, basically what I want to talk about now is actually a good example of how to turn a movie, like turn a TV show into a movie. Excuse me. Sorry, I just burped a little. In 2 ways, from the creator himself and also from a fan. I'm talking about the Muppet movie and the 2011 Muppets. I think 2011. Or was it? Wait, is it 2011? Yeah, it's 2011. Okay, yeah. Okay. The thing is with the Muppet movie, it's basically it's been a while since I've seen it, but I think correct me if I'm wrong, but it's basically is it the origins of the Muppet Show, like how everybody met up?
You're half right. It's basically how they all met up and went out to Hollywood.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
being
exactly.
stalked by
So
some.
it's basically like a prequel. It's basically like a prequel to the show, basically. And that's what it basically is. It's like we learn about we learn about the characters and who they are, and like and another great thing is that they kept like both these films kept the style of the spirit of the show, because like if you watch the Muppet Show, you basically would get the same exact feeling you would get in both the Muppet movie and the Muppets. And like in terms of the Muppets, it's definitely another great example because like it's been years and years since the show has been aired and stuff like that, and like they brought it back and in such a great style, mostly trying to revive the original Muppets, and the movie like they did it in the exact same style. However, if there's one thing I need to criticize a bit is that the Muppet movie is personally better than the 2011 Muppets for one reason, is that although yes, they successfully kept the spirit of the show in the Muppets, however, often they would go more into fan territory. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but for like newcomers who don't really know the Muppets, like they're going to be a bit lost. And that's a bit of an issue. Like I remember like when Kermit goes back into the Muppet Theater, like you would hear like all the different shows that are like that were on the Muppet Show, like Veterinarian's Hospital or Pigs in Space and stuff like that. And like it's only gonna be the fans who will understand it, but not really the like the newcomers. It's a bit of a nitpick, but it's still a great movie nonetheless.
I actually agree with Matt. The problem for me with the Muppets is that it had the charm, it had the heart, but I think the problem with me in general is that it just seemed like as if when you're going through and meeting all these interesting characters, you actually meet these characters, and I do agree with that portion. Because you're on a road trip, you're running into these people, and you're not, and you don't understand who they are. I mean, who's Miss Piggy, who's Beaker, who's
Mhm.
Bunsen. They're all
Mhm.
introduced nice and well. And here in the film, they really seem to brush across that. Even in the montage, when he was like a little joke with Ralph, where he's like, why isn't
Mhm.
my story in there? It was even more interesting. Um, but the other problem that I'm surprised you didn't bring up was the fact that it's, in some weird way, kind of a Disney sort of film, where it's, literally trying to say, "We own the Muppets, we own the Muppets, haha," and
Oh,
you can
yeah.
you can literally see that. There's
Mhm.
like a poster for Cars 2. I cringed at that. I literally, held my seat down. I'm like, this can't be possible. This can't be possible. This can't be possible. And there's like a poster for like Winnie the Pooh on
Oh,
DVD, and there's a
that's
firework
actually
with the Mickey ears.
that's actually so true, because
It's
I'm sorry, but I forgot that the Cars 2 one, that's the more obvious one. There's a lot more subliminal Disney messages that they do, like the Muppets will go to ABC. Um,
oh yeah,
oh, and
Yeah.
also it's in the where they're presenting. I think is in the El Capitan Theater, which is like basically the go-to place for any Disney film in Hollywood. Um, Also, like when they talk to the manager who accepts like the Muppets to do their telethon,
Mhm.
like she has a picture. It's a bit blurred, but it's her and I think her sister or her daughter, but it's at Disneyland.
Uh, yeah.
So there's a
actually,
lot of subliminal Disney messages. So like they went a little too far with the advertising.
I don't know. I kind of like that bit there where they're going from station to station. It's kind of a nice nod to how Jim Henson was trying to get the show off the ground, and believe it or not, he can only do it on British territory because they had the right amount of resources, the right amount of materials, as opposed to an American show. And if they did it over here, then they would have been dealing with a very, very low budget. So I thought that was a little nice nod to that. But really, when you're doing a film like that, the idea is not to say that we own these guys. Suck it, bitch. That's what they're literally saying to me the entire film. But regardless as it is, they did what they could. It's a film that appeals to like all new generations. I feel bad because there are some original performers like Frank Oz who are a little mixed about it, and to be fair, it's quite understandable. But we always
Hmm.
have the classics, man, and that's what matters.
Mhm.
Because at first I didn't understand why he didn't like it first, and I sat back for a second and realized this is a Muppet movie for the new generation, and they're literally having
Mhm.
callbacks to the old stuff. So it's
Hmm.
apparent that it's a reboot within, and it pretty much works on both fronts.
Mhm.
Basically.
Pretty much. Blowing the nose. Yeah, the Muppets. I have to agree with all you guys about that. I have. You guys just pretty much said what I was gonna say. Pretty much. I mean, the classics are always gonna be the classics, and the new one. I saw it in theaters. It was. Pre, it is kind of fan service, for the old people, but then yeah, it is a reboot for the newcomers.
Oh, so much roll us old timers. Do
um,
do the actual voice, but I don't want to be too loud.
yeah, understandable. What did I wanted to bring up? Oh, I wanted to go back. Morgan mentioned about sketches that were turned into movies. SNL did it has a whole bunch of them. All of that had Good Burger. There was one SNL sketch that everybody obviously would know, and it's the Roxbury skit where
Oh yeah, Night at the Roxbury.
yeah, the night at the Roxbury.
Uh,
All it is just these two guys going to a club and doing shenanigans, and that's it. The movie, I own it on DVD, and it's just it kind of how do I describe the movie? The movie it introduces you to the characters of Doug and Steve. That's what their names are, and they show you the lives a bit and how they love going to clubs, blah blah blah, and they go to club to club. They go club hopping, meeting girls, trying to get that girl, and it just misses the comedy. I mean, the skits were known for the original outrageous comedy, and the movie didn't show that at all.
Isn't it like the sketch, the one where like I was like we see them all in the car and they just like bob their heads insanely
Yes,
and like
yes, yes. They bob their heads to "What Is Love" by Hathaway, and a bunch of people, a lot of celebrity cameos were in the skits. Like Jim Carrey is the most notable one in the back seat of the car, and the other two in the front. So that's the one you see the
Gee,
most.
I wonder why.
But then I think at one point there was like Tom Hanks was in with the with the two, and then blah, and there was so many people. But in the movie, they go club hopping looking for chicks, and they see the Roxbury, and they're like, "We have to get in this club. There's got to be a way." They try to find ways to get into the club, and it's just it hits everything. It's just it bores me.
hmm like like there are some skits where like it's like you don't get enough material to become a movie, to like actually become a movie. Like when you think about Night at the Roxbury, how can you turn like a little sketch where the most notable thing is like all these guys just bobbing their heads to What Is Love, and like turn that into something that has a plot, like with an actual story and like character development and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff don't have material for to adapt into movies. Uh, how do I? I'm trying to think of what else to say about it. I'm not with the Roxbury. It's just that underrated, low key SNL sketch movie that people forget about because it's so forgettable.
It's strange too because people also forget that the Blues Brothers is Ensemble Chords and SNL movie as well.
Yes,
hmm
yes, it is.
Though
But
in my
it's
books,
like it passed on pretty much from like the most like if you think about it, there's not a there like you can't really think much of a popular SNL sketch from of the Blues Brothers, but other than the actual movie.
well, the way I see it, it's really just John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd's personal creations. And what
hmm
helped fuel that was their appearance on SNL. So in some of my own right mind, it's pretty much a film on their own characters as opposed to a sketch adaptation. But some people see it that way because, it blatantly obviously appeared on SNL, so that's where the popularity kind of began. And don't get me started with Blues Brothers 2000. That was shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
Well, what was up with the voodoo lady? The film just went nowhere. It's like, we give up. We're gonna go to the swamps and have like John Goodman and Dan Aykroyd turn into zombies. Really? Really? And this happens, folks. This happens.
Oh my god. Oh dear god. Yeah.
Oh.
Uh,
Ugh.
Yeah, boy.
Pop.
That's a movie that shows suspension of disbelief is chucked out the window. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. Next movie.
Ew. I'm trying to think at the moment. Because there's
We
two
have a
that are buzzing around
list.
my head. Hey?
We have a list, so you can check that out.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm randomly looking in certain spots, but I think the one that is a little difficult but semi-interesting was Twilight Zone the movie, and that's sort of an example of anthology. But then again, the TV show was an anthology series, so it does make sense to have the tone of the show be separate stories. And I believe I went into great detail over what happened during the production of the show, the movie,
Yep.
and it's sort of problematic considering how two directors um, really flipped in their bathtubs per se over what happened in the sketches. You have John Landis with his segment, which did not end so well, and for those who don't know, research it. I'm not going to say what happened. And then you have Spielberg, who's trying to soften it up with a much more sentimental storyline. And the thing about anthology bits, when you're having separate directors do a certain segment, it varies on the tone of the director, the what they're trying to address, and for a film like this, which had like I think had over 150 episodes, and some of them were directed by Richard Donner, believe it or not, who did Goonies and the Superman movies, the first two at least, well, partially the second one, but that's another story for another day. With Twilight Zone the movie, it definitely shows that there was a clash with the directors on their tone and style. You have Landis doing something political, Spielberg, who originally was going to do sort of a horror Halloween kind of segment, then he changed it to something sentimental because of what happened, which again I don't want to go into. Then you have the last two, which feel so on par with the original show. It just makes you think, if the first two directors went in the direction of Joe Dante's It's a Good Life remake, along with George Miller's take of Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, which are both really well done remakes of the original episodes, I might add. It makes you think, if they went in that direction, the whole film wouldn't have this inconsistent tone of different styles clashing with each other.
I could probably see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
basically, it all. Go on.
you have seen Twilight Zone the movie, right?
Yeah. This isn't really my choice for the next subject, but this is like a little mention that I want to say that there is one series, and I think we can all agree on this, that it's an anthology series, but they ended up doing something that's completely different with their movies, and one movie in particular, and it ended up being such an amazing classic, and that is Monty Python, the Monty Python movies. Like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Essentially, it has nothing to do with the original series. It's not an anthology series. It's not an adaptation of any of their sketches. It's basically their own thing, but it keeps the spirit of the original series, basically, with the Terry Gilliam cartoons, with like the randomness that's happening, with the funny with the comedic bits that have nothing to do with anything else in the movie. It's basically a classic, and it stays true to the Monty Python spirit.
That is pretty much true. The only thing that they're adapting from the shows is just the style of humor. It's pretty much what National Lampoon was doing with their material. They were taking the dark sense of what they had and applying it to their feature films and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, at least in the previous years. And this is sort of thing that kind of works for this sort of thing. It's the absurdity, it's the strangeness, it's the bizarre, and it really works that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it works very well. I would like to bring up a certain TV show, a classic cartoon. So I might hit up with Matt more likely. Let's talk
Hmm?
about the Flintstones.
Ooh, yes, 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 yes.
Mm.
Ooh, let me pick your brain a bit, Matt.
Yeah.
Why isn't the Flintstones on your top 10 worst?
It was actually very, very close. Like, if I made
Oh,
more than just 10, it would actually be number 11.
Oh.
ah,
Um, Come to think about it, like, yeah, the movie is pretty bad, I have to say, but there are a few things that that I find that they did a bit better or as good as they would in the first Flintstones movie. I find that the guy, I forgot his name, but the one who replaced John Goodman
Mark Addy.
did act. Yeah, I find he did a pretty decent job to be like Fred Flintstone instead of John Goodman. Um, I find Betty definitely looks better than Rosie O'Donnell
yeah, I totally agree.
as Betty.
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, and I have to say, some of the effects and the style and the look of the movie, it does it does look pretty decent.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. You're
like the
kind of,
dinosaurs are pretty good.
yeah,
Like the setting is pretty is nice as much as the first Flintstones movie. But the rest, I do agree, it's terrible. Like it's
Now,
close to be on my list.
are you talking about Viva Rock Vegas or the first one?
Rock Vegas. The
All right,
first one I
because
think is actually pretty good.
I actually have that one on my shelf, believe it or not, and it's a guilty pleasure for what it is. I grew up on it as a kid. Um, Good God, they hyped that thing out. They had like Rock Donald's, where they brought back the McRib as a promotion. I actually have like three of the four Flintstone mugs. I'm looking at them right now, and there's a really funny story. Sorry to go off topic. Um, I ordered one off of Amazon, and it was supposed to be the pre-dawn mug because I thought it looked cool with a little Bona as the handle. And they sent me one called Rocky Road, which looks like a bunch of pebbles and stuff. And I sent a message saying, "How could you send the wrong mug?" Blah 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 blah. They're like, "We're sorry, we're sorry, we're sorry. We'll send the correct one. We don't know what will happen." And so as a result, I got two mugs for the price of one, which was very sweet. Um, it's referenced in the Tintin episode if you don't know.
uh,
Um, anyway, the thing with Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas is that they're both directed by Brian Levant, and even though he's done some really bad stuff, he's a really big Flintstones nut, and it's present in
mm,
the audio commentary and the documentary. And in fact, that's the reason why he hired Rosie O'Donnell on, because they were auditioning for Betty, and she did a performance of the Bedrock Twitch, and he was like, "Ooh, the Bedrock Twitch, that sounds like something fun to add into the film." And that was the reason why she hired Rosie on, because she was a die-hard Flintstones nut as he was.
oh,
So that's how her name ended up in the film, because she was a big buff about the show. Um, I think if she was like Fred's mother, there'd be some more comedic value because how she's so loud-mouthed. I don't think her as Betty would work pretty well, because it's
yeah,
obvious in the stature.
Mm.
And I
yeah,
do agree with Matt. The Betty the Betty in Viva Rock Vegas is a lot better. Um, God, I hate wasted potential. But the thing between those two films is this. With the Flintstones, they actually build those sets out of stone and styrofoam and what have you. Those are actually hand-built sets. So you actually felt you're in bedrock, and that's what I really like about it. Because they actually brought this flat place and made it three-dimensional. And yeah, the plot isn't perfect, but it does have some merits. But here's my problem with Viva Rock Vegas. It's flat. It's dead. Seriously, we're pushing into Viva Rock Vegas, and it just feels like a pop-up book as opposed to the three-dimensional sets that we got in the earlier film. In fact, believe it or not, I could have sworn I saw a reused clip of Bedrock in Viva Rock Vegas, and
I wouldn't be
I don't
surprised.
mind. I don't mind the whole prequel stuff. That's fine, Fred and Wilma meeting, but it just goes on and on and on, and by the time we get to Beaver Rock Vegas, it's like an hour or 40 minutes into the thing, and we just had like a whole, you know, romance comedy that's supposed to be for kids, and it doesn't work. Um, Whoever's playing Wilma, I guess she was the woman on Third Rock from the Sun. Um, she's too ditzy for Wilma. I always thought Wilma was like strong and incompetent. Maybe if they had someone better at the time. And good God, the farting dinosaur. Why? At the beginning, there's the joke where Barney is taking like this last minute exam. He's played by Stephen Baldwin, by the way. And he's about
Ouch.
to stick, and he's supposed to stick this thermometer in him, and the dinosaur farts, and he's like, "Hey, I got 3 stomachs. Cut me some slack." I was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
And don't get me started with the Great Gazoo. It was a waste.
Yeah.
Hmm. Plus the fact that they have the actor who played the original Kazoo play Wilma's dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Harvey Korman. It's
Hmm.
like you have the actual Gazoo. You could have had like a CGI Gazoo done in the style of like Dino, or maybe like a little Jim Henson puppet of it, and that would have been fine. That would have been great. But no, he's the brainless father of Wilma. It's gonna sound weird,
Although
but I actually have
although
I
I
actually
will
have
say that he is the only good character in there. Like
true.
he actually is funny.
Yeah, he actually did make me laugh. There's actually a TV version I have recorded off of Sci-Fi with more deleted scenes, and it improves the film to a degree, but at the same time, it's like it's still a bad film. There's like some extra Harvey Korman bits which I wish they kept in. Like I think there's a bit where he looks in the mirror and he's like a little clueless Don Quixote or something like that, which would have been great.
Enough about the live action. I would like to bring up a animated Flintstone movie that kind of blew all the fans of Hanna-Barbera into the sphere of awesomeness. I'm talking about the Jetsons Meet the Flintstones.
Oh, I
That's
wasn't.
kind of a
I thought you were about to say a man called Flintstone.
I was
yeah.
I was gonna talk about that too because that's the first
Oh.
Flintstones movie. But
Mm-hmm.
just think, two fan bases, the Jetsons and the Flintstones, combined together into this big crossover movie. I It blew my mind when I watched it. I was like, oh my god, the Jetsons meet the Flintstones.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a great. Oh, it's it's one of the better Jetsons movies slash Flintstone movies of the animated portion. Especially talking about the other Jetson movies.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You love them, don't you, Morgan?
Good God, why grungies? Like Jake Norville, this is my Smurfs movie.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
No.
At least we're not talking about rocking with Judy Jetson.
Oh,
I never saw
good
that one.
God.
That's-
Oy
yeah,
vey.
yeah. That's like, don't even want to talk about it because it's pretty much all about Judy Jetson and blah blah blah.
How
Um,
about Jenny?
but the Man Called Flintstone was the first Flintstone movie, and it was a pretty darn good Flintstones movie. It parodied the James Bond films because
Mm-hmm.
it was Fred Flintstone becoming a spy, and he had to do this double life. And it was very good, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Plus the
I
fact it
don't.
was a musical.
Yes,
Like, and the music was actually pretty good.
I don't really hold the Flintstones, A Man Called Flintstone, that high on the list because there are points where it kind of feels a little bit like filler at times, like the scene where Pebbles and Bam Bam are dreaming about having a circus or something like that,
oh my god,
and the
yeah.
Romeo and Juliet
That
killing.
okay.
What was up with that?
That's actually one of the scariest things I've ever seen. It's
Take
like you're just
the
watching and then suddenly
tile.
it's like you're just watching Pebbles and Bebe. It's like he's on the tile. It's like, oh my god, they talk. What the hell?
It's like it's the Stewie Griffin syndrome. Why couldn't they? Can the parents understand them? I mean, not a bad adaptation. Yeah, I will say the whole Bond thing is really clever, but at the same time, it's eh. It has its good moments. I just don't think it's that great of an adaptation. I mean, I can understand why.
Alright. Touche.
Ah,
Let's see. You guys have any movies you want to bring up?
Animated ones.
animated ones. Oh boy. Hmm.
Popeye. Why didn't you include Popeye? Oh, right, that's not a TV show. That was a cartoon.
Um,
Yeah, that was technically a cartoon.
I forgot about that.
Actually,
wait. Popeye. Uh, oh yeah, there were some Popeye movies, but the live action Popeye was actually based off the comic strip.
There's a funny story
actually,
behind that one.
Really?
From what I heard, Robert Evans, a producer that'll probably go into depth next year on vaulting, attended a performance of Annie, and after seeing it, he was like, "Ooh, I want to turn the musical Annie into a movie. We gotta, get the rights to this." And as it turns out, they weren't. He belonged to Paramount, by the way, and he wasn't the only one who was in a bidding war over Annie. And sure enough, they, backed off when it was a certain number because when it comes to scripts, they always have like this little thing where they circulate around from studio to studio, and then they literally bid on the script. It's pretty much like eBay. And so they didn't get it. It went to Columbia TriStar. I can't remember how much, but then like Robert Altman, if I remember, no, it was Robert Evans. Sorry, Robert Evans. Um, as it turns out, Paramount owned the rights to Popeye. He decided to make an Annie musical out of Popeye. Disaster ensued.
oh my god. Actually, there's something interesting that I want to mention that if you know who I am, if you know like what I like and what I dislike, you will be horrifyingly shocked about this. Um, you guys know how I am with Sony Pictures Animation, correct?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, next in 2014, apparently they are going to make a Popeye move, like a reboot pretty much of Popeye, and they're going to get Jendy Tartakovsky to direct this.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much like he's coming back after working on Hotel Transylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could be very honest, I have a really good feeling about this movie. I really want to go see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
mean, to be honest, they're doing an adaptation of Alf with the original
because
creator
like
behind that one.
because
So
like from what they're
Yeah, they're doing a Elf movie with the original creator. So expect to
yeah.
see Elf on the big screen.
even though they're gonna
Yeah,
make him
pretty
like
much.
CG and stuff, which
But what I want to say
bums
about
me out a
Popeye is
little.
that No, but what I want to say about Popeye is that, like with Sony Pictures Animation, they're trying to make these cartoons trying to make these
Yes.
90-minute cartoons out of a movie, like with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Hotel Transylvania, are basically, they're not movies, they're like 90-minute cartoons. This would work to Popeye's advantage because it's basically a cartoon, so they have to do it in that style in order to respect like its origins and where it comes from. So it finally, for once, it can actually pay off for them. Oh dear. Not again.
Not again. But yeah, that does make a good point with that. It's totally understandable. It actually makes sense when you think about it. I hate Skype. I hate it. I hate everything in my life. I hate it. This is gonna be a hell of a thing to do. Fuck. I know it's.
I hate Skype. I hate everything about it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, for crying out loud. Come on.
Do you want to try to wrap things up soon, or like, oh, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. I wanted to. What did I want to do? I'm trying to think. Just trying to think of what else.
Do you want to like keep on? Do you want to wrap things up, or?
Shit. I'll try to wrap it up. I wanted to do quick mentions and then wrap it up. I don't think it'll be like a short episode because I don't think we got much. I just added him to the call. Hold on. This is getting annoying. Oh my god. I am going to kick.
I couldn't agree more.
Mikey is losing his patience.
I'm gonna go crazy. I'm going to go crazy. And you don't want to hear me crazy. See, I'm not even making sense now because I just said hear me crazy instead of you don't want to hear me. Oh god, I'm babbling. Okay.
Sounds like me when I watch Bratz the movie.
So there was something about Sony Pictures Animation.
Yeah, pretty much to sum it up.
Yeah.
Here's Sony Animation's doing a Popeye movie, and it makes sense to go to the traditional animation of Popeye because when you think of Popeye, it's usually an animation, especially with the shorts and the other two movies that they've done that were animated.
Basically, what I was trying to say is that the cartoony style that they did with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Hotel Transylvania, it'll definitely work to their advantage for Popeye because doing that, it's like they'll pay homage to the original cartoons.
Yeah. Pretty much. All right. I don't know how. I really don't know what the episode's gonna be like because there was. I don't know. It might be short. It might be long. So I want to be brief.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I kind of think South Park Bigger Longer Uncut is overrated.
It is overrated. I think it is because everybody talks about it. Everybody talks about it nonstop, and I'm like, okay, shut up.
I mean, I understand it's an attack on the MPA system, and believe it or not, Matt Stone and Trey Parker had a lot of trouble with this film because they had a problem with the language, but they didn't have a problem with the violence, which is ironic because of how big of a gore fest that film is in the second half. And I guess the point they were trying to make is how corrupt the rating system is, which is very, very nice. But at the same time, it's like, good God, it gets so lost in the second half. You could literally just remove your brain and replace it with a can of tuna. It's pretty much that same equivalency. Though, to be fair, there are some nice things in there that I do appreciate, like the music and the idea of Saint with Saddam, which is a nice joke. But
Mm-hmm.
when you really think about it, it's a very hidden political kind of film whose tones somewhat lose itself in the second act, where it's like, dude, put a happy face in there. People are dying. No offense, Matt, Canadians are getting shot. What kind of film is this?
Exactly. It's all
I
over
mean, it
the
goes from a
place.
Disney parody. It goes from a Disney parody to Full Metal Jacket in just an hour. It's nuts.
Crazy. Um, what did I want to mention? Oh, I wanted to mention about Charlie's Angels because I actually inserted a movie clip of the movie for the intro, and
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah.
so I figured I kind of mention it since it's in the intro that I made for the podcast. So Charlie's
Good
Angels.
morning, Charlie.
Good morning, Charlie.
Why?
The show honestly was a great '70s show. I'm a huge fan of the '70s and '80s. Charlie's Angels was one of them. You know, three beautiful ladies working for a mysterious voice. You don't ever see Charlie ever, and I mean they still do that in the movies. But the first movie, I think it was a great introduction to Charlie's Angels. The sequel just fell flat down in their face. Just Full Throttle was, ugh.
Yeah,
Fan
I have to
service.
agree.
Fan
Ugh,
service.
poo poo
Fan
service.
service.
In the first movie, you know, they got everything the show has. Like they had Charlie, the voice, perfectly. They had the three girls. And the thing with Charlie's Angels is that they don't have the same three girls. They change members every once in a while. If they had to leave, they had to leave. So they introduced three new characters, you know, as the Angels, and it makes sense. With Bosley, it, in the show he was the assistant to Charlie, and in this one it's Bill Murray, which I think was a great casting choice because
Hmm.
Bosley had his quirky moments in the show, and Bill Murray is known for the quirkiness and his comedy, and he brings it out fine in the film. But in the sequel, he's gone. He's
I think I can explain why both films were directed by McG, better
Yep.
known as the Terminator
Mhm.
Salvation Man.
Mhm.
Bad
Mhm.
man. Bad man.
Yeah.
Only
He's a
only
bad man.
only only good movie he did was We Are Marshall. That was it.
Uh, but in the sequel, he was replaced by the late Bernie Mac,
Hmm.
and that just threw me off. Like, really, you have Bernie Mac playing Bosley, and it's the Bosley name, and apparently he's I don't even know what to say about it.
So Bosley got a facelift?
No, it's how do I
No,
say
it
this?
it, it
If you
was it was a joke.
I know, I know, I know you're being sarcastic.
Screw you guys. I'm getting a Michael Jackson. I'm gaining 200 pounds.
Oh, it just they don't. I don't think they explained why Bill Murray's Bosley left, and they kind of made like a reference to Bill Murray with like via picture because I think he's related somehow to Bernie Mac's family. Didn't really get it, and yeah, it don't even get me started on the rebooted Charlie's Angels show that they did.
That that never made the first episode list. That
That
barely
was an
made it past the
accident.
pilot stage. Yeah.
Oh, good God.
God, that was bad. Yeah, and here's the thing I noticed with movies based on TV shows. When it's a franchise that's very well known, like a very well known TV show, they'll probably have like a reference to the original cast of the TV show, like have them casted in the movies themselves, like a cameo appearance somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Like Charlie's Angels has, I think in the first movie it was they had like one of the angels from the show back in the day as a reference cameo kind of thing. Another example would be like 21 Jump Street. They had the two original cast members from 21 Jump Street at the end of the movie. 21 Jump Street is actually a good a movie based on TV show. They kind of hit the show perks just right, and actually Ice Cube's in it, and he does actually a good joke about how it's the show and the he's the obviously the yelling black man in every show, you know. Just wanted to. Oh, I was going to talk about another one. I was going to talk about is Starsky and Hutch. Starsky and Hutch is a TV show about these two cops. They get paired up as partners, and it's a '70s cop show. And it's in the movie. It's a Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson vehicle.
Yeah, that's like it feels awkward.
It is.
Yeah,
because I was like, really, Ben Stiller playing Starsky and Owen Wilson playing Hutch.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like you think you have this like these cool like these two like awesome disco '70s cops, and then suddenly you get two awkward guys like Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller.
yeah. I just felt like, I mean, I think I've seen a couple episodes of the show, but I don't think they chimed in. I think Owen Wilson kind of got Hutch a bit better than Ben Stiller and Starsky, 'cause Starsky was he was sensitive about his car, and but his quirks were not what Ben Stiller just displayed it as. But the big thing that threw me off was in the show they had this buddy named Huggy Bear, and he's this black guy who knows a lot of stuff on the street. In the movie, he is played by Snoop Lion, formerly known as Snoop Dogg.
Really?
Yeah. Snoop Dogg plays freaking Huggy Bear. I mean, he's like, "What's up? What's flacking whacking?" He's like being all gangster and shit. Like, he's like, but in the show, he wasn't that. I don't think he was that popular. He was like one of the cool cats, but in this movie, he's like this. Yeah, he has a posse and shit. It's like he becomes popular. As I was saying with the cameos from the original show, at the end, kind of a spoiler, the Starsky loses his car and he misses it so much, and Snoop Dogg, Huggy Bear, buys him a new exact replica of his car, and it turns out it's the original Starsky and Hutch's car. You see them come out, and I'm like, who? Wait, what? Those are the original guys, and wait, what's going on? Who are they? Are they Starsky and Hutch, or are they two cops like Starsky and Hutch? And they don't explain who they are. They just have cameos. It's the weirdest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm rambling, but I wanted to there's one thing I mentioned about the censoring for TV. I was watching Starsky and Hutch on TV, and part of the plot is that Starsky and Hutch is trying to take down this drug lord. He has cocaine, he's selling it. It's got this super cocaine where dogs can't sniff it. And
super cocaine.
Yeah, super cocaine. He's just it's like no dog.
What?
Yeah, They developed the super cocaine that dogs cannot sniff at all.
I am so glad. I am so glad I didn't see this movie then.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's very weird.
Super cocaine.
Vince Vaughn plays a bad guy in the movie. He
What?
yeah, he's the drug lord. He's selling us the super cocaine to everybody. And in the TV version, they censor the cocaine. They
Gee,
blur
I wonder why.
they blur out the cocaine. I'm almost like, what the fuck is this? Why are you blurring out the cocaine? I mean,
It's like, isn't that the point?
I mean, it's a drug, sure, but why would you want to censor it? Because, oh, sure, you have it on the plate and it's all censored. It's like, you know what that is. Why are you censoring it?
I mean, it's not like when they air the Pineapple Express, they just blur out the moments where you see them smoking the dope.
Yeah, it's just like drug use. Yeah, let's just censor it.
Or it's like in it's like oh, what was it? It's like Snakes on a Plane. Like when they take the famous quote and they turn it into "I've had it with these monkeys fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane."
Yeah, because you got. I don't know. Maybe there'd be an episode about that because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to TV edits of movies. Like just
This happens when you. This happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps. Big Lebowski? No.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
just I know it's off topic, but the most commonly known one is Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
Falcon, yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
What? There's no Mr.
No, but it's like the voice.
They should just change it to Falcon Punch.
All right.
Falcon Punch.
All right.
Don't get me started with Scarface. This sounds like one big chicken waiting to be plucked.
Yes, I love that one too. Okay, well, wait. All right, going off topic again, but all right, just another well-known. I'm going to talk about probably two more movies, and then I'm going to end it. Another well-known franchise TV show is Dukes of Hazzard.
That I'm a little mixed about because it's sort of the fan version, and when I mean the fan version, I mean from the eyes of the actors that grew up with the show. And even though I didn't see the film, what I can say is that what they were trying to do was like the show in their eyes, which is fine, but at the same time it's like, dude, you're really forcing in all that moonshine and drug and stuff like that. I mean, Willie Nelson I can live with, but Burt Reynolds as Boss Hogg?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, that's all right. That's what I was gonna go into. Like, yeah, Willie Nelson. Yeah, it's just.
It's like Dom DeLuise trying to do Bosley. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's just. I mean, yeah. Uncle Jesse in the show was like old guy like Willie Nelson. I understand Willie Nelson. That's fine, but like Burt Reynolds as Boss Hogg, you imagine Boss Hogg as this big, plump, fat, money greedy guy, and Burt Reynolds playing this guy. What the fuck casting is that? I would think you would have a heavier actor portraying Boss Hogg. Um, the original actors of the show did not like the movie. What was it?
So they did a worse one, which was straight to DVD and was a prequel.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that too. But the original actor who played Bo Duke, can't think of his name, but he says, "Oh my gosh, it was terrible. It wasn't Duke's. It was true to whatever it was. I don't know what that was." It, yeah, yeah, but
yeah,
the direct-to-DVD prequel was even more a clusterfuck for me, cause I got it on DVD, and it's one of those DVDs where you have the original movie on one side, and the other side was the prequel. So 2 movies on 1 DVD.
You poor soul.
I know. I know.
You have so many bad movies in your collection.
I know.
And I used to have the Garbage Pail Kids in my collection as well, but then the novelty wore off. It was like, well, can't scare my girlfriend anymore. Pawn.
The prequel just did not. It doesn't explain how the Duke boys come to Hazard County. They don't explain where the General Lee comes from. Well, sort of. In the show they introduced that General Lee was originally painted black, and it was used by 2 robbers that come into Hazard County, and the Duke boys find it and they repainted it and they use it. In the movie, they end up finding the General Lee painted, with the number and the flag on top, and it's in the bottom of the lake. They just go. They just look in the lake. It's like, oh, there's a car under here. Let's get it out. It's like, what?
Okay, what was
I'm
he
honestly glad I
smoking to
didn't
find
see
that out?
that.
Neither did I. There's another thing too to consider when doing TV adaptations, and I hate to go off topic. Um, but the one thing to look out for when doing um, TV adaptations is retreading, and it's understandable to like do things to the new generation like the Muppets, but then you have things like the Beverly Hillbillies,
Oh yeah.
and that was just one remake of the pilot. They had like Jim Varney as Paw. To be fair, they got the cast. They actually had like the right cast to portray them, but it was just a retread of the entire pilot, which is disappointing. And I remember Siskel and Ebert were like very fierce about that. They were like, don't retread the whole thing. Like have Granny get a facelift, have like the Pap go out to the beach and become like a pimp or something like that. Just something other than retreading the entire film. And an example of that would have to be the Addams Family movies, because you see them again, just like with Wayne's World, beyond their own environment. I mean, okay, in the first film, you do see them in the house, but at times they do go out into the real world, and you see them interacting, which I thought was a key thing for not only the show, but even the cartoon. I think there's like a joke I remember there that I recall from the cartoon where they're looking for Cousinette, and Pugsley eats a donut, and he's like, human food, can't stand it. And it really does answer quite a bit on how the Addams Family lifestyle lives. They're kooky, they're creepy, and they have some pretty disgusting gourmet meals. With that said, those 2 films are a great example of taking something old and bringing it out for the generation it is. The problem is that they're 90s films. So when you're watching the first film, the only thing you can think about is MC Hammer's contribution to the soundtrack, which is played throughout the entire film.
Exactly.
He even had a rap called Adam's Groove.
Jeez.
It was, oh my god, that was so 90s.
There was even a music video. This is how low we have gotten people. And I can see why people say Family Values is better. But when you think about it, the Addams Family were based off of a TV show that was based off of a one-shot comic strip by Charles Addams, the original publisher. And when you think about it, the first film is more in key with the TV show for its lighthearted, 60s humor, whereas the second film is a whole lot darker, and it really retreads back to more of its comic roots. So when doing a television adaptation and you're going to retread stuff, do it in a way where it's acceptable for the new generation. Don't literally say we're rehashing the entire story, because that's going to be quite annoying, because that's going to make people go back to the original and think, wow, this is so much different. This is much different than I expected. It'd be like My Favorite Martian all over again, where they're trying to update it and up the ante, but updating it for a different culture. In fact, why in the world they made that to begin with is just a wonder. And it's weird because, here's the thing, the character Uncle Martin from the TV show, I know you probably haven't seen the TV show, it's actually kind of funny. It's weird because his character is carried over in the film. So in some bizarre way, when he's revealed at the end to be that he survived on the planet all along, it's a adaptation sequel ease kind of film, which is really weird when you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
Mm-hmm.
Because literally at the end, he makes a reference to the TV show. He's like, "This gum lost its flavor in 1969," and that's like 68 or whatever year the TV show came out. And it's like, wow, I don't know if that's a kick in the pants to the fans of the show or something weirdly clever. Good God.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Though I'm surprised no one's brought up Star Trek this evening.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. Um, yeah, I totally forgot about Star Trek.
That's for we
That
could say that
I was
for
gonna
another
say that
time, I guess.
I was thinking about saving that for another episode, because if we were talking about Star Trek movies, we would be here all night. So yeah, that'd be in a future episode.
Final Contact is the best of the bunch, hands down.
Really?
That's how I feel about it.
We'll talk about that another time, because I beg to differ. I beg to differ, mister. What did I want to... What is noteworthy? I'm trying to think of something last minute, just because I know this was pegging on, and I wanted to get my words out. Yeah, Morgan just pinpoints everything that what a movie based on a TV show should be. And there's one that just pops up, and it's the only TV show that ever has a sequel movie. Firefly. Firefly is a canceled space western by Joss Whedon.
Oh yeah. That turned into Serenity, and I don't know how that went.
And it turned into a sequel movie known as Serenity. It's the only canceled TV show that I've known of that's got a movie sequel.
Well, other than Farscape.
Never seen it. How dare you?
They did a film wrapping up everything. It's a good... It's like Pigs in Space, only with Jim Henson aliens. I am not even kidding. It's a really damn cool show. There's a ship Muppet. There's like a little... Okay, Serenity, go on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of interesting how Joss Whedon has this baby of Firefly being canceled, and in 2005 he gets to continue his story with Serenity. And I mean, I don't know how the fuck he did it, and what did he do? I mean,
He literally tried to sell his TV show as a film. And so he pitched it to Universal, and after watching Firefly, they pretty much hired it on.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Oh, yeah, and the reason why the movie is called Serenity, because technically Fox still owns the right to the name of Firefly, so they couldn't call it Firefly the movie, so they figured they name it after the ship of which the adventures are on, the Serenity. I'm a fan of the Firefly, I'm a fan of the show, and the movie kind of fucks with you when it comes to, the movie's great. The movie's great. It's a great continuation of the show. And, yeah, it's like if you want to make a good movie about a TV show, a continuation of a show, Serenity would be a good movie to reference, in my opinion. Yeah, if you're a Firefly fan and if you've seen the movie, probably your favorite characters would be killed off. What?
Dun, dun, dun.
But Joss Whedon's always known for killing off your favorite characters.
But he didn't kill off Iron Man.
No.
Yet.
Oh no, yeah, true. Um, um, what did I say? I'm not gonna talk about that one because okay. Fat Albert. Fat Albert.
Pass. No.
Fat.
It's a bad movie.
It is.
It's a bad.
It is. It is. It's a fucking. It's like really.
Yeah.
So they're trying to break the fourth wall. They're having the universe of the cartoon invade reality. I am sorry. Is this Rocky and Bullwinkle the movie? Because that is a much better film compared to seeing Keith Mitchell running around in a fat suit
I beg
trying
to
to get back
differ.
into his cartoon show.
Ooh.
I beg to differ.
There's a scene where they paint an African American's butt green. My God, how could they get away with that without? Oh yeah, they didn't show any shots, but regardless, and Bill Cosby, they
Mm-hmm.
did a. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna meet the creator. Oh, you're gonna turn to cinematic dust.
I'm
Good.
Bill Cosby. Is that you? Is he
Worst,
dead?
worst twist than in the Smurfs movie when they open a book detailing the Smurfs' adventures. Are they from an alternate reality that we don't know about? What the fuck is going on?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I kind of get
No.
where they're going with it. I find it interesting.
No! No! No!
Oh my
It would
god.
have
They
been
were
fine just to
discovered by
have.
Peyo.
It would have been fine if they had the Fat Albert Gain in the real world, try to mix in with the modern culture, which they do, but it doesn't work. Because they're supposed to be cartoon characters from their cartoon reality meshing in with modern technology, which doesn't make any sense. Because when you put it that way, you would rather see an animated movie of the Fat Albert Gain in their time than actually seeing a live action adaptation of it. It doesn't add the fuck up. I saw it in the theaters and I was like, maybe we should have seen Looney Tunes back in action or Peter Pan. I didn't choose this movie. I'm gonna go sit in the corner over here.
I know. Sorry if I brought it up. I'm sorry. I can't stop laughing. I'm sorry.
I mean, good God.
Yeah.
Good friggity God.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what I wanted to. Yeah, I wanted to do those episodes brought to you by before Matt did, but I thought of a quirky one and Matt just came up with his own, but I thought of bunny boobies.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
Mino like Lola. Mino like Lola. Get rid of her.
Yeah. That sums up Space Jam pretty much. Bunny boobies.
I didn't like her in Space Jam. I didn't like her in the Looney Tunes show. I don't like her. Period.
Alright, that's good. Good, because I don't really care. I've I kind of watched the show and Lola's just crazy in the head.
She kind of scares me sometimes.
Yeah.
Ditto. And now we have Equestria girls
Oh,
from My Little
Equestria.
Pony.
Oh, sweet.
Oh God,
I actually get freaking requests from people they ask me, could you review Equestria Girls? It's like, no.
No. You did Bratz. You have to do us a favor.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Okay.
Plus,
All right.
yeah.
All right. I'm gonna try to. I've been trying to wrap it up very slowly, but I got two more, and we're fucking.
I got one left. I got one left. Go on.
All right. I want to mention if I'm into these 80s and 70s like police shows and these undercover shows like Charlie's Angels and shit, and the A Team.
Oh, like Police Squad.
Yeah, Police Squad was very good.
Yeah.
But the A Team was one of my favorites watching. And the movie, like I mentioned before, they do the quintessential cameo from the original cast, where they had the original. If you don't know the characters, there's Face, there's B.A. Baracus, there's fucking Murdoch and Hannibal. But Face, the original Face from the TV show, was in a brief cameo where Bradley Cooper's face just kind of passes by him while tanning, and it wasn't a very good cameo. I mean, they stay true to the show where it's like pretty much the pilot episode where they're in the army, they do their thing and they get committed for a crime they didn't do, and they somehow try to prove themselves throughout the whole movie. They try to be like, okay, we didn't do this, we didn't do this, we didn't do this. Try to do the clever plans, and it's a great homage to the show, but it wasn't a great adaptation of the show. And there was a bunch of conversations from the original cast, like Mr. T, who played B.A. Baracus. He was offered a cameo, but it turned it down. Um, he he viewed a couple of scenes from the film, thought that the final product was the greatest thing in the world, but after the premiere of the film, Mr. T stated that he had become disillusioned and felt the story emphasized sex and violence. Of course, the violence part, but there was a lot of sex scenes in there, like between Face and his hubby-dubby girlfriend.
Badunkadunk.
Freaking Jessica Biel. Fucking Jessica.
Chop chop.
Fucking Jessica. Yeah. Oh, Dwight Schultz, who played Murdoch, he said the team characters are fairly different, and with so many roles reversed from the original, one could say that they're not the same except for their names. It's faithful to the original, but at the same time, it's a big screen twisted, and the right at home with the new team. I mean, I'm kind of mixed with it, per se, with the A team.
Believe it or not, this is my last choice of the night. I plan to tackle this in the near future. But for any Doctor Who fans, believe it or not, there was a film adaptation that occurred in the 1960s, where they actually remade one of their earlier episodes, Doctor Who and the Daleks.
Yes.
And the thing that should be noted is that there was a practice with the BBC. The same thing goes for Monty Python's, and now for something completely different, is that the way it would work is that it was sort of their way of trying to introduce British culture to America. B, because TV shows and stuff were being destroyed and wiped at the time due to copyright licensing issues or something like that. If Mike Dutton was here, he would get into a whole spiel about this.
Oh yeah.
But because of that, it was their only preserved way of remembering these sort of things. And for the longest part, if you think about it, until the Dalek serial was discovered, the only thing that they had to resort to was the movie. And you know how it is when you get a bigger budget, you're supposed to improve upon things? Even though Doctor Who and the Daleks is supposed to be a retread of what happened in the serial, only crunched down to 90 minutes, it's about as cheesy as an Ed Wood movie.
Yeah.
I think... No, it's an Ed Wood movie with a higher budget and sets taken from The Wizard of Oz swamp scenes. That's the best way to describe it. It's interesting to watch because of the cinematography and stuff, but when you really boil down to it, it's them trying to retread the second serial, And they did the same thing with the Daleks' invasion of Earth, where you see them roaming about in London and trying to take over people and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Good God, the men that are like slaves of the Daleks, they have like this Devo gear. It's nuts. Um, and it's strange because when you look at the original serials, they're very well written. They're very well done, and even though the effects are, like really, really cheap to the standards of a soap opera, compared to the feature films, you can like literally see the strings and the spaceships and stuff like that. You think to yourself, with a budget, higher than that, they could have done something a whole lot better.
Oh yeah,
It's weird.
yeah, and they've. I mean, it was pretty much for like Dalek mania. Like so everybody, like, oh, the Daleks, ooh, the Daleks. It was they
I
would.
heard they were gonna do one based off of the chase, but that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it says yeah, it didn't do.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, yeah.
but what are the biggest thing they changed from what they based it off the serial and from the movie is that here's the big fuck up. In the show, obviously, the Doctor is an alien. He's a Time Lord. Blah blah blah. In the film, he's actually human, and his last name is Who, so his name is Doctor Who, which kind of threw me off.
Resident
Threw me off. Like,
Resident of Whoville, anyone?
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, really, what? What?
I mean, I can understand explaining the whole alien thing would be difficult, but good God, his name is Doctor Who.
Yeah,
Really?
it's like his name is actually Doctor Who. It's just fuck. And then Doctor, Doc, yeah. Um.
Mm.
Oh shit, that's right. Cause besides that, um, Barbara's apparently Doctor Who's granddaughter too. Besides Susan, in the show, Barbara's a completely different. She's not. He's not the. She's not the granddaughter of the Doctor. She's the what is it? Fucking teacher or something. That's Susan.
Yeah, in the show she was a professor, I think.
Yeah. So in the movie, she's pretty much turned into the other granddaughter of Doctor Who, and Ian's the boyfriend of.
Ian, agree, or should we say the comic relief of the film?
Yeah. I would just. It just makes me laugh watching the movie. It's a freaking laugh fest with me. I mean, especially with the Daleks. I mean,
I mean, seriously. Oh yeah, the fact that they produce gas instead of flamethrowers, which they were going to intently do.
exactly.
I mean, they have a countdown. They have a countdown Dalek. 27, 26, 25. Like I said, when doing an adaptation, it's good to update the stuff that was done in the original to make it, high tech and go beyond limitations what the creators could do. That's why things like Flintstones worked. That's why things like um, Wayne's World worked, because they're going beyond the limitations what the show provided them. Here, they're stuck in these limitations. It's like, okay, how do we bring the charm of the shows? We'll make it just like the show, and that's the main problem I have with both films, but I do find them entertainingly cheesy.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. All right, Matt. Do you have any last-minute films based on a cartoon and/or television show you want to mention?
One last one. I think I can find one probably. Chicka chicka chicka. Hold on a sec. Actually, what I want to talk about, it's more of a section, like more of a category. I want to talk about those that, like, to the public eye, they are not really seen as good, but like to the fans, for them, it's like they like it because it's a movie that's pretty much made for them. I'm pretty much talking about films like Pokemon, like the Pokemon movies, or Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie, or stuff like that.
Oh.
Stuff that's movies that are basically made for the fans and not really for 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 the general audience. The thing is, it's like it's not really that smart of a move. Like if you are gonna do that, like honestly, you shouldn't be releasing it in theaters. You should probably keep it like on TV and stuff like that. And like personally, like everybody hates. Like I see that everybody hates Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie. They think it's one of the worst animated films of all times. Personally, I actually like it. I love like the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Series is my favorite series of all times, and I love, and I actually really do enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie, like Pyramid of Light, because it's only going to be like the fans that would understand it, but like it would have been better if they released it just in if they only would release it in in not like just on TV and not in theaters. Like only if you have if you have a giant fan base, if the show is like extremely popular like Pokemon, then like you could try to release it in theaters because you would probably grab some good money out of it.
Well said.
Yeah.
You got all that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually pretty heroic in my opinion. It was so touching. Just yeah, I agree with everything you said. Pokemon, jeez, I think that's the only movie franchise based off a TV show is like going strong. Like one of the most in the like shit. There's a shit ton of Pokemon movies. Oh my god.
There's as much Pokemon movies as there are like Land Before Time movies.
Yes, exactly. Usually at the end of the podcast, I've started this kind of trend where I talk about a film that's mind-blowing, it makes you speechless, and that would force to the end of the podcast. There's one film based off a TV show, which does not make any fucking sense why it would be a movie. And I can't believe you guys didn't even mention it, because I thought you guys would be talking about it up the wazoo. But there was a movie based on the nature documentary series known as The Crocodile Hunter.
Oh my god! That is so
a lot of trouble with the alligator they had.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
It was called The Crocodile Hunter Collision Course. I have it on DVD, sadly enough. Like I said, I own it. Yeah, it was kind of interesting because it was the first movie that actually replaced the MGM lion with a crocodile. So at the beginning of the movie, instead of seeing Leo the lion, you see a crocodile in place. But it's the weirdest fucking movie ever. It's like two movies in one, pretty much, in my opinion. You have just imagine you're watching the show and it's in this like letterbox kind of format, and you see, crikey, mate, we got a crocodile over here. I can't do an Australian accent. And Steve Irwin's doing his.
Crikey, it must be some kind of bloke war.
So he's Steve Irwin and Terry Irwin. They're doing their thing with their animal spiel, and the plot is like very makes you hit your fucking head so many fucking times. Okay, the basis of the movie is that, as I said, Steve Irwin and Terry Irwin are doing their thing. Now, meanwhile, in the U.S., there's a satellite that blows up. Just blows up. And pieces are falling down from the sky, and there's this a beacon that falls from the sky in Australia, and it's swallowed up by a crocodile. That's the beginning of the movie. And so the CIA wants to locate the beacon, and there's information on it, very vital information. These bad guys find out about it. They go to Australia to find the crocodile, and Steve Irwin has the crocodile they're looking for, and and then they combine, Steve Irwin's documentary kind of thing. They're talking about animals, and these people are coming in closer and closer to Steve Irwin, trying to get the beacon from the crocodile. And when they two meet, because it's like I said, it's a letterbox format with Steve Irwin, and if when you see the movie version, it's all full screen. So they kind of combined it together, where you see them interacting with each other, and Steve Irwin doesn't really act. He's not a really good actor. He's Steve Irwin, obviously, so he's playing himself, and he doesn't have a script in front of him, so the director would have to tell him the lines to interact with the other actors.
Actually, I'm looking up the trivia right now, and believe it or not, that the whole idea of having Steve and Terry doing their documentary bits was actually the director's idea, just having like two different entire movies sort of crashing into each other. And I think the problem is that you have an opportunity here. This is the Crocodile Hunter. You can actually do like an unscripted, untamed feature film about the dangers of the outback, which would have been great. I mean, you can definitely see that in the scenes where they're cruising around, running into the crocodiles. Having the whole FBI thing is just confusing, let alone switching back and forth between the way the scenes are completely shot. Yeah. And I agree with you. It's just very complex.
Yeah, and the thing, like I was mentioning, the documentary scenes and the scripted scenes come together, and the thing is, Steve is just like, he's a blank slate to this, because when he meets these people, he doesn't know anything what's going on with the script or plot. So he's just in there doing his documentary shit, and then the director's like, here's your lines, he just gives them on the spot. So Steve Irwin was probably like, crikey, I'm gonna get my own movie. But you get this, like,
I will give the film this. There is a joke I do like near the end, where he gets the beacon that's like vomited from the crocodile or something, and he's playing around with it at the end. And he's like, this is a great adventure, what more can I ask for? And then out of nowhere, you see a huge squadron of helicopters right behind him. He turns around, gives this, oh shit, what's going on kind of look, turns to the camera, says, crikey, and it just fades to black. It's like,
oh,
wow. That's like the only funny joke. And then it gets killed by this epilogue that's done through the end credits.
Yeah.
one good scene, and then it's ruined a few seconds after.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, yeah. But it just blew my mind. Just like, oh my god. Why? It was a great TV show. Why would you want to make a theatrical family comedy adventure film based on the show?
That's pretty much, if today they would make a movie about Gordon Ramsay, pretty much. Like they're gonna make like a sequel of Ratatouille, but with Gordon Ramsay.
This time you're really gonna be in hell.
And with that, I think it's time to end this son of a bitch of a episode. This has been Cinema Royale. Normally at the end I get the next episode topic, and boy, dartboard is loaded with new topics. Lots of new topics. Oh God, are you serious? This is an old topic, and I suppose the holidays are coming up with 4th of July, so holiday-themed horror films and why
Oh,
Eh,
holiday-themed horror films and why they suck.
haunted theme horror films.
Holiday-themed, holiday-themed horror films, like for
Hobbit themed horror films.
like Black Christmas or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, holiday.
Tune in next time.
Holiday.
Tune in next time. We're gonna celebrate Christmas in July, but in hell.
It's Christmas at Ground Zero.
Yes.
Oh my God! Yep. That's what's gonna be for the 12th episode. Should
I forgot Follow That Bird. That's like the only good adaptation of a kitty film.
Which one?
Which one?
Follow That Bird. Follow That Bird.
Oh, the Sesame Street.
Oh, that bird.
Oh yeah.
For next time.
They're actually doing another Sesame Street film, so let's hope it's not going to be Elmo and Crouchland style.
Oh, good God.
Oh dear God. Okay. Let's just. This has been Cinema Royale. I'm your host Mike, and along with me were Matt and Morgan.
See you later, dudes.
Ciao for now.
Goodbye.